Well, I'm going to introduce you for people that don't know who you are. So, it's going to be hard for me to remember to call you Dr. Hurme. So this is Dr. Hurme from Amityville Wellness Integrated Health Center. She is a doctor of Chinese medicine. She is an acupuncturist and herbalist. I am lucky enough to have been friends with her since kindergarten. So, yeah. So she's an old friend, but I actually will never forget. There was one time you rode your bike to my house, and you told me that you were going to start doing this. And I remember there was something going on with my digestion, and I was like telling you about it, and I was like, they want me to swallow a camera, and you were like, don't swallow a camera. And you're like, just let me finish school, and I'll fix it. And like honestly, since Dr. Hurme has become like an acupuncturist and moved back to New York and has opened up this wellness center, she has been like massively in charge of my health. Like anything that has ever gone wrong, I do not go to doctors anymore, like Western medical doctors. I mean, sometimes I do, but for the most part, like if I have like bronchitis, strep throat, if I have like, there have been some really crazy things that I have, and I go to Erin, Dr. Hurme, and she fixes it like right away, fixes it. So she's a miracle worker. She has some really crazy stories about like conditions that she has treated and like healed. So I'm super excited for the audience to get to know you and hear your amazingness.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
You're
well,
welcome.
I try very hard. I do promote Western and Eastern medicine.
I know you do. Yeah.
I think, when East and West are best when they're together. So
yeah,
that's a big part of I think my practice, is really understanding both and learning how they work together and sometimes work apart, and combining the two modalities is very important. And knowing when to, like I said, separate them and put them together at what times in various forms of whatever the person's chief complaint is. Whether it's maybe anxiety and they're on meds for that and they're not working, or they're on meds for that and they're ready to come off, or they're on meds for that and that's not cutting it, and so then they want to combine. And so that's just one simple example of how we can use them both together.
Yeah, I also like I'm hearing that I'm blurry, but
you're blurry for me too.
Is that better, or is it like is it like a?
I think it's the Wi-Fi. It looks like it's kind of spinning for me, but I can hear you. It's not breaking up. It's just the picture's not clear, but I can hear you.
All right. Well, I don't think there's anything I can do about that. So
go sit right by the router. Go sit.
I know.
Go snuggle the router.
All right. I'll try. I don't know. We'll see if this works. Yeah, one of the things that I do like that you suggest is to go and get like a physical and like get your blood run and like get all the things done by a Western medical doctor, and then bring all of those reports to you, and then you can see like what's going on too, which I like.
Yeah, I think especially with adults, with children, it's mandatory that you get that physical every year. But with adults, as soon as you don't have to do it anymore, just like anything, kind of goes by the wayside typically, or with a lot of people that I see. But having that established baseline is so important, just for your future and for current, to see what's going on inside your body, and for the future, so we can look back and see what was happening then and how are you doing now. And that's having a baseline and a physical is great. And that's one great thing about Western medicine is their diagnostic tools, how they can and see into the body. They have all the imaging and much more, but that's a small piece of how well they can see what's going on at the baseline.
Yeah. I also like how you take this, like what can be a very overwhelming medical tradition, because like, so Stacia gave me some permission to talk a little bit about when you worked with her, because she had some questions that she wanted me to ask you. But she said, like, I remember when she went to you and then she came back and she was like, I mean, there's something with the food and then the hot and the cold, and like, I have been working with you for a really long time, so I like have really kind of, I can go into it a lot. I don't, but it's still overwhelming for me. Like, there is so much to know. But you
become a guru.
I know, I know. I come to her and I'm like, okay, wait. So I read about this, and
yeah, star patient, because you took that what I gave you, that piece about diet, and you took it and went with it. And that's the best. That's the best kind of patient, and that's so proactive. You know, you now know. You probably know better than me what's hot, what's cold, and balance your diet. It's pretty cool.
Well, okay, so let's talk about that a little bit. Like, so that, because that's one of the questions. Stacey wants to know, she said you told her not to have smoothies. So why? Because that's a big part of like the health world, right? Is smoothies. Yeah. Everyone says have a smoothie. So why are smoothies bad in Chinese medicine?
Right. People love smoothies. I love smoothies.
I do too.
Smoothies are delicious. They're so easy. They taste good. It takes 2 seconds to drink them. But so in Chinese medicine, we talk a lot about your diet, and your digestion is the root to your health. And so it's important that your digestion is always super strong. Now, if we're going to speak generally, because when you go to a Chinese medical provider, they're going to give you dietary recommendations that are specific to you, and it's not going to be for everyone in your whole family. And if you're living, if it's a a husband and a wife, they're probably going to have different dietary recommendations from me. So I could tell the husband, go ahead and have a smoothie, and I might tell the wife,
right.
No, don't do smoothies, which makes it difficult to, when you start to think about it. Everyone always hears food is medicine, but it really is. And so everyone can't take the same medicine. That's not how it works. But the thing about smoothies is, again, it depends on what type you're talking about. I can never give you a straightforward answer, an exact question. Like if we're talking about, say, a fruit smoothie, the kind where the patient comes in and they say, oh, every morning I wake up and I put a yogurt in, and but they might even say it's dairy free. I put a coconut yogurt in.
Doesn't matter. Damn.
Then I put strawberries and then blueberries, and then sometimes I'll throw a little pineapple juice in there, or maybe a banana, and that's how I start the day. And that's when I'm like, you're coming to me for allergies. This is what the problem is, But a lot of people, that high dose of sugar, because that's essentially what it is. You put all that fruit that you would never eat that much fruit naturally. Right. You wouldn't sit there and eat a banana and 10 strawberries and 20 blueberries. You'd be sick. But if you blend it all together, it adds so much sugar to it, and that your body goes up. You get that heightened energy, and then it drops down. Now, besides that, dumping all that sugar on your digestion makes it really difficult for your digestion to thrive. In order for your digestion to thrive, you need to have, a balance. It's all about balance. My motto, live life in balance. But as you live life in balance, you live food in balance, you live everything you possibly can in balance. And so it's important that shake is balanced too. So, the yogurt is a whole nother entity in itself that might damage your digestive system. And that's a tricky one. I don't always talk to patients about that in the beginning, because I need them to develop a trust with me. Because if I say to someone, you know what, yogurt is causing your allergies, they'd be like, this lady is nuts. I'm never going back to her. She told me my favorite food is making me sick. But so once the patient does develop the trust with me, and we've spoken a lot, and they start to understand the Chinese medical theories, then I might bring up the fact that the yogurt is actually causing their symptoms, which I keep saying allergies. There's many symptoms that a fruit smoothie that we described just now can cause, but that's just one of them. But
I told her, I was like, just, you could balance it out, like throw a jalapeno pepper in there, get some spice, like, I don't know, like do less fruit, some vegetables, some root vegetables, and a jalapeno.
Yeah. You want to balance it out. You need
like
to
if you have to have a smoothie,
Yeah, I try not to take away people's favorite things unless it's, the last thing that we need to do. If they're really not improving, it'd be like someone telling me to take away chocolate. Chocolate is my thing. Chocolate chip cookies, I love them. That's my go-to. But there was a time where my favorite food was orange juice, tomato, slice of cheese, and it was so delicious. And I lived on cheese and actually chocolate shakes with ice cream in them. Loved it. Took my acupuncturist a good 4 years of telling me you got to stop eating that. It's making me sick. Yeah. So I finally kicked the habit. But it's a work in progress, and still with myself. I know if I'm gonna have because I'm not different than anybody else. I want what I want, but the thing is, when I have it, I just know what's going to happen. And that's what I try to teach the patients. If you want to have a fruit smoothie, just know that tomorrow when you wake up, you're going to have a headache and you're going to be congested. Or tomorrow when you wake up, you're going to have loose stool. It's just the way it goes. But if you understand that, then it's easier to maybe not eat it, or it's easier to judge when you're going to eat it.
Right. Is there a better time to eat something like fruit or sugar or something like that, like in the day or like?
Yeah, there are. Yeah, you're gonna. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
We can break it all down. You can break it. You can keep breaking it down. If you want to have a lot of sugar, the best time to do is in the morning. Sugar is very cooling, and so in the morning hours, that's when it's the warmest part of the day. That's the yang time of the day. That's the time of the day it's bright. Everything's working as well as it can. Everything's thriving. Once you start to hit the afternoon, then your body's like, all right, it starts to wind down. So, I wouldn't go and have a smoothie at night. It's also better to have a smoothie if you're going to have one in the summer when it's hot. That would also be much better. I would never have a smoothie in the winter, because also that food is not natural, at least in the New York winter. To us, for us to go, throw a ton of fruit that's not even natural to our area in a drink and pound it, you might not feel good the next morning, or even maybe later that day.
Eric is on, and he wants to know, how about liquor? How about a lot of liquor?
How about a lot of liquor? Eric, let's see.
How about Tito's at 10 a.m.?
Tito's at 10 a.m. Are we talking during the quarantine or not? Liquor, again, you got to break it down. What type is it? What is it? Every liquor has a different element to it. Red wine is very warming, so that's something to think about. White wine is more cooling. Typically clear alcohols are more cooling, and alcohol with color is more warming. All the time, Eric.
All the time.
No matter what.
That's interesting. That different liquors or alcohol has different elements to it. I never even thought of that before.
Yeah, and actually beer is very congesting. And so it's helpful when I try, I never judge. I don't judge people. I'm not a judgmental person. And, I let my patients know that because I need them to be honest with me, because I can help them learn how to live life in balance.
Right.
If they just give me the details, like, all right, listen, you know what? I love to have margarita at night, and that's my thing. We might figure out, what, margaritas are really not the ideal drink for you. So we'll figure out what's their, you pick your poison. Like, how can we make it a little bit better for you? So that's the way to go. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that's one of the best things about you too, is that you take these things and you make them more digestible for people. Like I was saying, I remember when I lived in California and I was going to acupuncturists out there, And I called you and I was like, I went to this woman and she told me I had to cook every single piece of food that I ate at this degree in my oven. I couldn't cook it on top of the stove. That didn't count. It had to be in the oven. And I was like, I'm going to lose my mind. And you were like, don't do that. Like, this is how you incorporate it into your life. And so, like, do you have any, like, tricks or tips that, like, people can use to incorporate some health tricks into their just daily life? So it's not like they're losing all of their vices or, you know, whatever.
I'd say I'm the queen of health tips and tricks for a busy life, because that's what I have.
Yeah.
I have a busy life and I have to stay healthy and strong. And, you know, just by doing small things, you know, can go a very long way. And I'd say, you know, one of my favorite ones is drinking water, because it gets away from everybody. You know, it's hard.
Yeah.
You know, you're at work or you're virtually working, or even if you're just hanging out, sometimes you forget to drink water. And so I pick a cup, my favorite cup, I put it in the bathroom, and when I wake up, I drink 2 of them. 2 big ones. You might not be able to start with 2 because maybe you're just not used to drinking water, but I drink 2 of them before I do anything. So then I know, all right, started out, you know, put a little gas in the tank. I'm gonna be cruising today. And then every time you go to that bathroom, you fill up that cup and you drink it. And it really helps. It helps. And that's one easy way. That's a very easy way to get more water into your body, because even if you say you only use that bathroom maybe twice a day, in the morning and at night, you're at least getting 2 big glasses of water in you, where many people are not getting much more than that, you know. So if you just leave that cup for the day and leave that 1 cup in the bathroom, it's pretty good. It's a pretty good deal.
Yeah. And then I know that you're a big exercise fanatic.
Yeah.
For people who don't know you, Erin, this past year ran, or not even ran, but did the Ironman, finished a full Ironman. So did you get your tattoo yet? You said you were going to get an Ironman tattoo.
I did.
You got it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's on my calendar. How did you not know that?
That's weird.
Yeah, I don't know. That is weird. Yeah, no, I got it. I got it.
That's awesome. Yeah. So, why is exercise good? Is there a certain type that's better than others? And hi, Sisha. And is there, like, how long, like, should you be doing it to get the maximum benefits?
Well, that's another thing. Again, it's different for everybody, because you can break it down. You know, some people need more, something more like, you know, gentle yoga. Some people need more like, you know, easy walking. Some people need the weightlifting or the boxing or the cardio. You know, me, I love cardio. You could ask anyone that I work out with. I love cardio. I hate strength.
You don't say.
Yeah, I love cardio. But that's because cardio, when you do, you know, running or biking or anything like that, swimming, it really gets your heart pumping and you start breathing heavy fast. And when you breathe heavy really fast, your body releases endorphins. And so, I mean, you have to get to the point of panting where you're completely out of breath. When you get to that point, your body releases. What's up?
I want to ask you a question, because I was thinking about this today when I was running. Because I've been reading all this stuff about nose breathing versus mouth breathing. I breathe through my mouth when I'm running, and I was wondering today, is that why I feel like I'm dying all the time? Should I be trying to breathe through my nose?
Yeah, you should. Unless you get...
But panting through my nose?
No. So you're going to breathe through your nose and out your mouth. You're supposed to breathe through your nose and out of your mouth, you know, at your regular running pace. When you then say you start to sprint, at that point, you're panting, where you can't breathe it in through your nose anymore. You feel like you're gonna, you know, your heart's beating so fast you have to breathe out of your mouth. That goes on. When you do that, that's the real way you're supposed to do it. When you do it, your body releases those endorphins, and that's when the stress levels drop. And that's what I'm in it for. And that's what a lot of patients who are stressed out, you just need that cardio. You need to get to that pant. This is not for the person that is, say, weaker, you know, or more run down. And if you are run down and stressed out, this is not your exercise. This is not what you're trying to do. If you're, you know, stressed out and feel like you want to kill somebody, or you're filled with, irritability, or, you're just pent up from work, then I would go for the cardio.
Right.
But with that, not everybody has time to get out, and that's a big thing. Obviously, everybody doesn't have a lot of time, and so you don't have to do a specific time. That was the other part of your question. You can just go to the point of panting, and so what that could be, I always say the easiest way to relieve stress through exercise. If you're not a weak person, if you're not a very run down person, you would do jumping jacks. Not most people can't do more than 10, 20 jumping jacks before you get to that pant. And all you have to do is get to that pant, and that's when you de-stress. And that feels really good.
Interesting.
Yeah.
My Apple Watch, you need to tell that to my Apple Watch, because it yells at me if I don't do at least 30 minutes every day.
There you go. I mean, obviously, the more you work out, the better.
Not right.
Extreme. You don't have to do an Ironman. That's a little out of balance. But everybody has their goals. Everybody has their goals, right? Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you do want, you want to hit a good amount of exercise. 30 minutes is great. Go for 30 minutes. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You can do that, carve that out of your day. And I think it's always best to start out with, you're not blurry anymore. Right now, you're not blurry.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I can see your hair looks good.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, if you want to do that 30 minutes, and if you could bang it out in the morning, because when you do exercise, you do get that big energy boost from it as well,
right?
Which is helpful for the day.
Awesome. Okay, so I know that we're in a global pandemic right now. I don't know if you've heard, but there's also murder hornets. It hailed in New York a couple of weeks ago. Like, I think this is like, we're in the Old Testament. Something is happening. Someone is trying to tell us something. Like, it's bad. But, now you're blurry.
Oh, man. Stage, now you're look great. Thanks, Stage.
Yeah. Thanks, Stage. So I've been reading a lot about this virus and how it's called a bacteriophage or something. I don't know how you pronounce it, but like basically it attacks the bacteria in your body. Like it integrates in with the bacteria, and then that's how it breeds, right? So if you don't have a lot of bacterial overgrowth in your body, you won't have as big of a viral overload, and then you won't be as sick, right? So like a lot of people have been talking about that. So like, what are some of your recommendations to maybe like reduce bacteria, candida, dampness, or like improve digestion, like stuff like that?
Right. I would say, again, I would just go back to the diet. I think the diet is the strongest thing you can do, but you can't really give it's hard to give a full recommendation to everyone, because again, it's so specific.
Right.
If you're a person that tends to be, say, sluggish with low energy, maybe you tend to have yeast, or the easy way to do it is you stick out your tongue. You can look at your tongue. That's one way to tell. If your tongue has a thick coat on it, let's say your tongue looks good. Your tongue looks good. Very good.
Thanks.
Perfect. Very nice.
Are you proud of me?
I am. You've been doing well. That looks good. Gretchen's been keeping your diet strong. You're living life in balance.
I've been living, and I'm working. I told you I'm working on my daily cycle, and Stacia really gave me a very stern talking to about bedtime and getting to bed on time.
Yes. Yeah.
So like at 10 o'clock I get into bed, and then I try and fall asleep by 11, and then I'm trying to wake up earlier, and then like have a cycle. But
did you set a bedtime alarm clock on your phone?
Yes.
You have that option.
I know. I have an alarm that goes off at like 9:30, but I should do the bedtime one.
If you do the bedtime one, it makes at least I have the iPhone, whatever. It says a little do, and then it comes up and says bedtime. I'm like, ooh, better start winding down. But it really
Shit. I'm gonna start doing these jumping jacks.
I'm gonna wrap this up. But yeah, no, that's great. It's important. The routine is important. It is important.
Okay, but you were saying, I'm sorry to interrupt you. So a thick white coat on your tongue.
If you have a thick white coat on your tongue, you'd want to ease up on the smoothies. You might want to eat some more chicken. Chicken is very drying. If you have a thick coat on your tongue, it means your digestion is not working as well as it could be. You should have a thin white coat on your tongue. And so chicken would be a great thing for you. And cooked vegetables, broccoli would be great. If you're someone that's more run down, if you look at your tongue and your tongue is actually pale, your tongue should be a normal, we call it fresh red color. If you look at your tongue and it's pale, then you want to do more maybe red meat or a lot if you're a vegan, or even if you're not a vegan, you can do pea soup. That's a really strong blood builder, makes you very strong and bring the color back to your tongue. Your tongue is the only muscle that's not covered with skin, so you can tell a lot about your muscle health just by looking at your tongue. So it's one of the tools we use to diagnose in Chinese medicine. So sometimes we tell people, like a new patient, stick out your tongue, and they go ah, it's the noise. But then they learn we're not looking at their throat, we're looking at their tongue. I love that. I think it's so cute. I'll be like, stick out your tongue. Let me just stick your tongue. They're like ah, and they say it. I'm like, you don't have to do the noise. You don't have to do the noise.
Yeah, I remember there's been a couple of times when someone is because I really I've learned so much from you. I think I know what I'm doing, and people will be like, this is going on, and I'm like, let me see your tongue. You're eating too many carbs. You're eating too many carbs.
Very good. Tongue diagnosing. Yeah, I mean, all you need to do is learn what you're looking for. And that's like I said, it's a big. I say that a lot. It's a big part. I try and get the patients to learn how to heal themselves. I'm here to guide you. The acupuncture is a tool we use to kind of help get your body on track faster, as well as Chinese herbs. But really, food is medicine. You can fix yourself. You have diet, you have exercise, lifestyle, and we have that. And if you really tap into it, you can go a long way. You can go really long way. So
isn't there something too about spots on?
Oh, you're breaking. Oh, I can't hear you. Yeah. Oh, you're breaking up on me, Gretchen. Oh, can anybody else hear Gretchen? Is that just me, or is that her?
Oh no, I just got a thing that said connection poor.
Oh, okay. Oh,
I don't know if that's better or not.
I can see you. Okay. You're in and out.
No, I don't know what that means. We asked 7 questions. You can't just say no.
If you have any other Wi-Fi in the house, you should shut it off. That would be good. Any other Wi-Fi, you should shut off.
Oh, I can hear
now. Like, you're taking all my juice. I can't even look at this video.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you might need to turn off your Wi-Fi in the house.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was saying, what about so you can use your tongue, but then isn't there stuff like face mapping? Like if you get a zit in a certain spot on your face, or like a liver spot or something like that can tell you maybe where you have a weakness.
Yeah. Bye, Arlene. Yeah. I mean, with Chinese medicine, we diagnose by looking, asking, smelling, touching. It used to be tasting. We don't do that anymore. They used to taste urine and things like that to diagnose. But no, when we look at the face is a map of the body, just like reflexology, the ears, the hands, the feet. But yeah, when you come in, actually, when an acupuncturist sees you, we're immediately start diagnosing you. Like it's like ingrained in my blood so much. I can't look at anyone and not think. I don't think I start diagnosing like right off the bat, because you diagnose by even the first time. If you answer the phone, you're like hello, and they say hello. You diagnose by their voice. You diagnose by their body type, how they walk, how they move, if they move fast or slow. It's pretty cool that you're looking at all this when you're diagnosing. But yes,
That is interesting.
face is another map, another tool we use.
Okay, I had another question. Someone wrote in, is there anything specifically that like senior citizens should be doing during this time, like to stay healthy, that like younger people don't necessarily have to do? Or
yeah, I would say a good thing for seniors would be to make one meal a day soup, a thin, clear soup, chicken soup. You could do like a beef broth soup. I think that's good to take the brunt off the digestion once a day. You know, your digestion is taxed when you put food into it, when it has to start working. And so if you're trying to keep your immune system strong, and if you are stressed out, which most seniors are stressed out, if you exchange one meal a day for a soup, and ideally that would be your dinner, because if you have a nice, easily digestible food at night, then your digestion really thrives, and then it digests so easily that then your sleep will be improved, and you'll sleep easier, and your overall health, your energy, your immune system will go up as well. So that's a easy.
how do you fill up on clear broth?
No, you can do a chicken noodle soup, chicken rice soup. You know,
okay.
Like I wouldn't do a cream of mushroom, broccoli cheddar. None of that, please. New England clam chowder. No. We could go Manhattan. You can do Manhattan.
Manhattan's fine.
Yeah, let's not do
Okay.
yeah, sorry. Should have been.
Because I'm thinking, I'm like, there's no way I could have like broth for dinner and be like, oh, well, that was full.
But you're also not a senior. You're also not a senior.
Right.
Seniors don't eat as much. You're far from a senior.
Okay, I have another question too from Stacia. So I was telling her, you had mentioned something to me, just kind of like off the cuff, about not taking spirulina if you've been drinking alcohol, or like lowering your spirulina intake.
Right.
And she has spirulina every day, so she's curious why.
Okay. Well, I don't remember her exact case.
You didn't tell this to her. You told this to me, just kind of in passing.
Okay. Well, I would think spirulina, probably my reason for saying that would be that spirulina works on the liver. And if you drink and then you have the spirulina, then your liver's going to do a detox. It dumps out the toxins, and you get a little sick from it the next day. You might feel a little queasy, nauseous. You might have a bowel movement, so it's like an extra one, maybe loose.
Right.
I love to talk about stool, Phil, also, if anybody wants to know. I love to talk about anything.
Okay, so let's talk about stools. It should be an S, right?
Yeah.
Is that what it's supposed to be?
Yeah, well formed, shaped like a tool, shaped like a tube.
Hi, Katie.
Easy to pass.
Okay.
Easy to pass. And then you don't wipe a lot. And you don't strain. Yeah.
One of my favorite stories is when you told me when Kellen was young and he was like in kindergarten or something, and like one of the kids in his class, like one of the little boys, was like sitting on the toilet, like, and Kellen was like, buddy, you have to breathe. You have to take deep breaths.
My kids, they know. They come out of the bathroom and I'm like, they're like, it was well formed. I'm like, okay, good. Okay. I was like, Mom, I think you should come look at this one. I'm like, okay, let's see. Yes, that's loose. That's too many tomatoes.
Too many tomatoes.
Right. Tomatoes.
I remember when I was traveling through Europe, and you like wrote me a message because I was like writing that blog, and I was posting every day, and I was eating gazpacho every day, which was that cold tomato soup, and you were like, Gretchen, stop eating so much gazpacho. You're gonna die.
Oh my God, that's hysterical. Yes, I remember that.
So too many tomatoes can cause loose stools.
For him, but
right.
If we're talking about him, he has a very strong digestion. He's young, he's healthy. Somebody who's not, it's different for everybody. But the goal of me teaching my children this is that they know, If I eat 20 tomatoes, the little cherry tomatoes, if I eat 20 cherry tomatoes, I'm going to have loose stool. My stomach's not going to feel it. So that's the goal, that you know what's happening in your body and why. And that's what Chinese medicine does. That's what drew me into this, is that you can figure out why. You figure out the root cause of what's going on.
And you can be like, once you know the principles, you can become your own healer almost. Like, oh, like I've been eating too many tomatoes, I need to stop, or I need to like counterbalance it a little bit with, this. Which I tend to do too much, which I know you said, like, because I'm super sensitive. So, like, I'll have one thing off, and then I counterbalance it with something else, but then I go way that way. Like, I just need to be balanced all the time for me.
I mean, you can be balanced like me and have, the trail mix, which is the protein. I have the trail mix that has a lot of nuts in it, and that's warming, and that's your protein. But then it has M&Ms in it. That's white chocolate, and that's your cooling. And so those two, when you eat nuts and M&Ms, balances it out. So,
Okay, so what about, like, so I know nuts themselves are warming, but what about when you make, like, them into a milk? Is that still warming, or does that change it? It is.
It's still warming, but then if you cook it, it's going to make it, because do you cook it? I haven't made the milk. Do you cook it when you make milk?
No.
You don't cook it. No, so it wouldn't change the property, but you will change the property slightly. If you cook something, it will make it a little bit warmer. If you put it in the fridge, it'll make it a little bit cooler. So, but the real property is not going to change. It's not going to change, because that's what it is.
Yeah. Speaking of that, one thing that I do really like to do for breakfast in the morning, if I'm like really wanting that fruit flavor, I'll take like apples and like maybe blueberries or something, and I'll cook them and like cook them down until they make like a applesauce almost. Yeah, like a mush, and then I eat that.
Yeah, that warms
it
up a little bit. Yeah, that'll warm it up a little bit. Throw cinnamon on there to warm it up a little more. Apples aren't super cooling. Apples are actually from New York, so that's a good one. Very good, strong fruit for you. That would be good.
Awesome. Okay, let's see. Oh, so what are like some of your favorite rituals that you have that like you have to, I know that you're like, you work out every morning, like that's one, but like what other things are like really kind of set you up for the day and make you feel good?
I would say, I have my bedtime alarm clock, which sets me up for the night. So then that goes. So that starts the night, right? So then you wake up. I have an alarm. The alarm goes off at 5:45, but like
hi, Tommy.
Oh, hey. The alarm goes off at 5:45, but for some reason I'm up at 5:30. So I wake up at 5:30. I don't touch the phone. I just chill out and just lay there for 15 minutes. And then at 5:45, I reach over and I put the phone on and I put it on the Calm app. And some people are great at meditating and they don't need an app or something to guide them. But I love that app because it's just 10 minutes. You just click on it. It's 10 minutes. So then I lay there for 10 minutes and do the meditation. And then I get out. Now this is different. This quarantine routine is different than my regular routine. Regular routine, I'd be up much earlier. But for the quarantine routine, this is it. And then I go out. Then I'm out, running. I'm outside. I'm outside for the next hour at least. And then I come back and I make sure everybody has breakfast. We all have to have breakfast. We have, an animal protein. So usually we have eggs. And then I like to get I love broccoli. Like that's what we live on. Everybody eats broccoli. My birds eat broccoli. My fish eat broccoli. Everybody eats broccoli in my house. It's like the running joke, like they have for their broccoli. But I think if you get the vegetables in the morning, because a lot of times the day takes off. The day takes off and then you're like, you're scrambling. And so I like to do a vegetable before we even eat anything. And so, we have our water. I had my water in the bathroom, 2 cups before I went outside. And, went for the run, come back. I have another big water, because you just exercise. So after you exercise, you have to drink water. So I have water after that. Then we have our broccoli first, vegetables first. Everyone knows this. This is my rule in the house. I have a 5-year-old and a 9-year-old. and husband, and everybody's on board. Everybody knows we eat the broccoli or the vegetable, then we go for the eggs, then we have like a little carb, and then.
So you don't have them together? You eat them separate? Like you eat the broccoli first and then the egg? Like you don't like not like an omelet, like a broccoli omelet?
No, because I had to train. If it was just me, it'd be one thing. But I have the kids, and so the way I like, because most kids don't like to eat, what they have to eat. They only like to eat what they want to eat. We're just actually like adults too. But so what I do is like no other food goes out until you've eaten your vegetables. So it's just a known. Like there's no fight in the morning about it. Like my kids don't fight. They're like, what are we having?
Wow.
Like carrots. What are we having? Asparagus. Wow. So we eat that, and then we start, and then they know it's crazy, but we do that, and then we do our protein because they're the two most important things to eat to start the day. And then if you want to follow it up with a carb, then that's fair game at that point because you already got your good stuff in. But if you get your good protein in, and you get a good veggie in the morning, and I feel like, oh, you're ready to go, and you worked out, and then you're good.
So is there any other, like, because I know that I should be eating like the protein in the morning, but like I like variety, and I get bored with eggs every day. Like, is that all you do, or is there anything else that you? I know your family loves their ham sandwiches, but you're not eating that first thing in the morning, right?
You wouldn't be surprised. So a lot of my patients ask me this. What else can I eat? So I am not a chef. I'm not. Unfortunately, I'm not a chef. I don't like to cook. Don't like it.
Yeah.
I cook to eat. If you want me to make brownies or cookies, I will do it. I'll do it. Doesn't matter what time. I'll make it. But if you want me to make you breakfast, lunch, or dinner, it's like, oh God. So I just stick to routine. But I'm also just using whatever we have in the house. And so even if it's dinner for breakfast, just because that's the protein that's already made, then that's fine. Mm-hmm. So we'll do eggs, but a lot of times we'll do ham. Just we say ham in hand. It's like the ham roll up. But I'll throw out their chicken. We'll throw out meatballs. Anything. It doesn't matter because we all in my house, we all know that we're eating for health. We don't eat for fun. And even though we do enjoy our fun foods, our main meals, our breakfast, lunch, and dinner are for health. And so that's
right.
That's the truth, and that's how I try and teach the patients too. You're eating for health. Food is your medicine, and everything else on the side, like your cookies, your cakes, whatever you like, chips, candy. That's the fun. You can have fun with that, but your meals have to be serious.
Yeah,
that is medicine.
And what do you think about like the whole intermittent fasting thing, and not eating in the morning, like that? How do you feel about that?
So tell me about that a little bit, just so I'm a little bit more clear. I mean, I've obviously heard of it a lot, and I know a lot of people love it.
So I do it a little bit. I don't do it as stringently as like other people do it. But what about salad? What about salad when? Like at any time? Like I'm getting a question. What about salad?
Right.
I don't know. We need a little more context for that. Like in the morning, or just in general, is salad good or bad? What are you asking?
So salad, I'll tell you right off the bat, salad is harder on the digestive system. And so if your digestion tends to be weak, maybe you have acid reflux, excessive gastric bloating, pain in your belly, loose stool, constipation, maybe even allergies. There's a lot of things that can happen anytime. A lot of things can happen if you eat salad. So if your digestion isn't very strong, and without knowing anything else about you, really, like, I don't know what else is going on with you, but say you came to my office and you were like, oh, I love salad. I'm like, how's your bowel movements? Well, I have about 4 bowel movements a day. They tend to be very loose. And then I find out you're eating salad. That's the culprit. That's it right there. But salad is a cold and raw. It's raw. It's a raw food, so it's cold in nature, which is harder on the digestive tract. And I would go easy on it. I would never eat salad in the winter unless you're living in a hot environment. New York doesn't really call for salad in the winter. Again, unless you're throwing eggs and some sort of animal protein on it. It's a difficult thing to handle because if you do weaken that digestive system, your immune system goes down with it. So I hope that helps.
Yeah. Okay, so the intermittent fasting. So like strictly, like loosely it should be that you're just like not eating for 12 hours. So like 7 to 7. But
Okay. That'd be fine.
right. Right. But stricter versions call for like a 16-8. So like maybe you stop eating at 7 and then you don't eat again until like 12 the next day. And like don't have anything like except for water, and you can have black coffee, which I think is terrible. Like I would never have black coffee on an empty stomach. Like I think that is terrible. My nervous system is already jacked up just thinking about it. But so I usually have like at 9 I will have like a matcha latte but I put a lot in it. I put like spirulina on my nut milk. I do inulin fiber. I do a bunch. So I'm not really fasting. It's kind of like whatever. But I don't eat really a meal until like 11 sometimes.
Right. Okay.
I'm hungry.
You said you're not hungry. Yeah. You want to be hungry. I'll tell you that. I like the 7 to 7 better. You don't eat from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. I like that better. I feel like that's more natural. Your body likes, and your digestion likes to know it's going to get food, and with the intermittent fasting, what's the point? Is the point to lose weight? What's the point?
So it's a little bit of both. So like basically, what is it called? It's trying to get your body into a state of, it's not ketosis, it's something else. It's like auto something. But basically what it does is that all the energy rushes to your vital organs and your cells to repair, because it thinks that it's not getting food for a minute. So like it goes into like a massive and makes everything much stronger, because it thinks that it's going to be going for long periods of time without eating. So like it tries to make itself as strong as possible.
Yeah.
And it's also supposed to like kill off all like bad bacteria, because they starve, because they have no sugar or anything like that or food to feed off of.
Right. Yes, I've heard this. Now you're saying that, and now I remember. Yes. I think that that's okay to do. Not all the time, though. That would be something I would do, almost like a treatment. That's not a Chinese medical thing. I would say that, for starters. In Chinese medicine, you want to eat the same time every day. You want to eat 3 times a day. That's Chinese medicine. With this, I would say, okay, if you want to do this, you can do it, but let's figure out like what time period you want to do this for. Like, let's set a cap on it so that you're not doing this all the time. I know some people, I actually know one person that's doing this during the coronavirus right now, to try and keep their body super healthy, and that's their plan. So I think as long as you have a cap on it, this is not the way you're really going to live forever. I don't think it's terrible. And also, if you could then, at the time that you do eat, from that 12 to 7, you try and make that at least regular. Like you're going to eat, I'm going to eat at 12, and I'm going to eat at whatever, however you cut it.
Right.
I think that would make it better for your system. That's a good
awesome.
One.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks. I think that might be it. Does anyone have any other questions? We're running out of time, but so it's almost both of our bedtime. Our bedtime is our bedtime alarm is gonna
my bedtime alarm goes up at 9:45, and I haven't had any cookies yet.
You haven't had your bedtime milk and cookies?
I have not had my cookies yet, or my seltzer.
That's the other thing. So seltzer, because you drink seltzer all the time.
I like seltzer. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that like, does it have it? Because I've read that there are actually some blood types that do really well with seltzer.
Oh, really?
Is that like a thing in Chinese medicine at all, like seltzer? Or?
No, I wish it was. No, I actually heard bad things about it. I heard bad things about seltzer. I mean, just like anything, you hear bad things about everything. But again, I try and just pick your poison. My poison is seltzer and chocolate chip cookies. Oh, here's one. Here's a question.
Yeah. Is it bad drinking coffee on an empty stomach?
Depends on the stomach. Right. If you can handle it, then that's all right. If you don't have any Like if you don't get acne from it, a lot of times if you drink coffee on an empty stomach, coffee is actually greasy, and a lot of people don't think like that, but you can get some acne. A lot of times it goes like this down your face, comes up here like that from coffee, or again the acid reflux, the typical classic coffee ailments you can get. But I would say acne is probably the one that people don't think about. But yeah, if your stomach can tolerate it, then I don't see anything wrong with it, especially if that's your thing. Again, if that's your favorite thing, then you try and work.
I will say, like, just to give a little history on like some of the stuff, like I have chronic issues with shingles. Right. So like Erin is literally, sorry, Dr. Hurme is literally the only person that like can treat it. Like I can go to her and within a day it's gone. But like I always get them in my nose. And that's something that lives in your nervous system. Like it's connected to your nerves, right? So like if you have any nervous system conditions, like anxiety or like any health conditions that have to do with your nervous system, I think that much caffeine and that coffee is not. It was too much for my system, and since cutting coffee out completely, I only drink green tea now. I've had a lot less incidents. Yeah.
Yeah, and I would say with that coffee being greasy, you wouldn't want to do coffee and then another greasy food on top of that. Like say you're going to do coffee, I'm going to have coffee, then I'm going to follow it up with some sausages and whatever else. But again, you try and balance it out. So coffee is it's cooling, even if you have hot coffee, it's cooling.
Yeah.
And the way you figure that out is you think about where the food is from. So you think, where are coffee beans from? Okay, they're from the South. So in the South, the weather is hot, which means that food produced there naturally is going to cool you down. So that makes coffee beans cooling. But they're also greasy. That's another factor. So if you're going to have a coffee, which is cooling, you want to have a protein with it, which is warming. And protein is eggs and anything with eyes. That's your number one proteins. And then your number two proteins would be nuts. And then you could follow it up with beans. And that's where I would go with that coffee thing. But that's a good question.
Yeah. Any other questions? I will tell you that I wanted to tell you this. That I just got said. So I told you I'm like reading about the nose versus mouth breathing.
Oh yeah.
So I got this, and it's tape that you put over your mouth while you're sleeping.
Oh geez.
So you can't breathe out of your mouth. And I swear I only used it one night, but I swear I woke up feeling so much better this morning than I usually do.
Are you a mouth breather at night?
I think, I think that I am. But not like the whole night. Like I fall asleep with my mouth closed, but I think throughout the night I open my mouth.
Because your mouth is actually relaxed when it's closed. So if you're opening your mouth, it's tensing up.
Well, I mean, I know that I grind my teeth.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh no, I don't grind. I used to grind my teeth. You know what I do is what I've been told is I chew caramels. So I do like that.
Yeah. That's funny.
So I guess I am opening my mouth.
You're doing something. You're not sleeping soundly, I'll tell you that. You're busy.
Oh my God, no. I mean, okay, well that's the other thing. Is I have crazy dreams. Like the craziest, most vivid dreams. They're in color. I hear them. Like my dreams are loud. Like I wake up sometimes and I'm like, oh, it's so much quieter in real life than it is in my dreams. Like it's really weird, but they're super vivid. Is that like, I know that might be like eating too close to bedtime, right? But like, is there something else that might be causing something like dreaming too much?
Yeah, I mean, when you go to sleep, you want your brain to go to sleep, so you don't want to be dreaming. You definitely, if you're having vivid dreams, that's even worse. And so, eating late at night is one thing. Having spicy foods at night is another. Not even not even that close to 9, depending how sensitive you are. You're very sensitive. You probably shouldn't have anything. You probably shouldn't eat after 5 because you're so sensitive, because it'll impact your sleep so much. So also the foods that you're eating, like if I have, you know, for me, I'm very sensitive too. If I have red meat, this might sound crazy, but red meat is very hard to digest, but it's a strong, you know, tonifying, strengthening food, you know. So if I have that at say 5 o'clock or any time later, I'm gonna dream all night. You know, I'm not gonna sleep well, because the whole night your body is trying to break down this food, and it's making, you know, making so much not inflammation, but it's just working hard. It's creating a lot of energy in you, and it goes to your brain. But you know, there are acupuncture points you could use, or acupressure points. You know, a good one. Actually, I was going to do something about this on whatever it's called on my page as a tip. Yeah, between right where your ring finger falls.
Yeah.
That is a point. That point right there. That point you could press and massage it. That point is great for sleep. If you're getting like this nightmares, vivid dreams, just go ahead. Yeah, you can press it. So you press in and then you move around. Don't slide your finger all over. Press in and rub. It's called circular digital pressure. You'll feel your little tendons in there. You can press this. It's on both hands. You can press this point. It's right where that right where that ring finger lands. You could rub that point before bed, or if you wake up in the night with the dreams, you could rub that point. That's going to help take away those vivid dreams, nightmares. That'll help you go to sleep.
That's another thing for everyone who is watching right now, who doesn't already follow. So every day you do a daily health tip, at 6:30 or something?
I do a daily health tip Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. They all up on our blog, amberwellness.com/blog. And I post them on different places. We post them on Facebook or on Instagram. We do our Wellness Wednesdays at 7:30 Wednesday nights, where I do a live lesson on a topic that, you know, everybody's talking about, you know. And then on Tuesdays we do a live chat as well. We did yesterday with our lead provider Devin, and Gretchen was instrumental in making that.
So Instagram has they don't give you a warning. Like, I think it's like anywhere between 40, like 8 minutes and an hour. They do a hard cut. They just cut you off. They don't give you a warning. Yeah. I need to set like a timer, because I forget. I get like super into the conversation and then I forget.
Thank you. There was one more question I saw in the chat. What's the best time to exercise?
Yeah.
I think it's personal preference is one. I think the best time is in the morning, because you get so much energy from it, and then it sets the tone for the day. I think the other thing about exercise is really make sure that if you say I'm gonna exercise at 9 o'clock, that's gonna be my time. Let that be your time then, because your body's gonna look forward to it. And when you do that, you get that endorphin release, and you get a change in everything inside of you. Your hormones, everything shifts. So it's important that you do it the same time every day to really get the big effects from it. And then remember that if you exercise late at night, you're going to get that energy boost from it, and it's going to be difficult to sleep. So keep that in mind when you're picking your exercise times. But routine.
Yeah, I try and do if I can't work out in the morning for some reason, I try and do if I'm going to work out at night, I usually try and do a super calming one, like a slow flow yoga with long holds instead of something hectic.
You can still get a good release, energy boost from it, though. You know.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to get it in no matter what. Get it in. Get that exercise in, because it is so important for your health.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, it's bedtime. I'm drinking my Coma Latte, which I'm going to do a vlog on to show the recipe.
Wow.
But it knocks me out. I'll tell you real quick. It's chamomile tea with lavender. I steep chamomile and lavender together, and then I add in cherry juice and almond milk, and I make a latte.
Yum.
It's really good. It knocks you out. I'll make you one.
I'll take one.
I'll row it
to make you fall asleep.
I'll row it over to your house.
Okay. All right. I'll watch for it.
Well, thank you so much for joining. Tell people again where to follow you so that they can stay up to date on all your health tips.
Okay, you can find me at amityvillewellness.com/blog. That's where you find all the good stuff. Oh, I'm actually having a class on Thursday. If anybody has neck pain, or the person they're socially distancing with has neck pain, you can take this class. It's going to be virtually hands-on. You bring your partner, and I'll teach you how to treat your partner and alleviate that neck pain, because I know everyone's suffering with all sorts of aches and pains, but this is going to be a great class that you could use for the rest of your life. It's a skill that you'll learn, techniques that you'll learn that are easy. It's for beginners, and it'll be a lot of fun. And especially because you get to bring a friend. Anytime you can bring a friend, it's fun.
Yeah, awesome. Wait, so that's next Thursday?
That's going to be Thursday at, I believe, 8:30. And you register on our blog, amityvillewellness.com/blog.
Fun.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. This was fun. My first Instagram Live.
It was fun.
Easy. Very easy.
Well, it's us.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much. You gave some really great tips. I'm sure people enjoyed it. So, thanks.
All right, thank you. Have a good night. Sleep
You
well.
too. Yeah, you too.
Don't forget your point.
Goodbye, everyone. Sleep well.
Bye. Bye.